Hi, everyone. Welcome to Unleash Her. I'm Roberta, and I'm so glad that you're here today. And I can't wait to introduce you to my guest today. But before that, make sure to follow, like, and subscribe to this podcast. We are on all major platforms. You're going to want to follow because this is a great story today. And my guest is a keynote speaker. She's an international podcaster, a three-time published author and entrepreneur who has owned and operated health and wellness companies for over 30 years. And I love her motto. It is all it takes is 1 to 3 minutes a day to change your body, your life in a positive way. So without further ado, welcome to Sandy Joy Weston. Hi, Sandy.
Roberta, I want you to come with me. I love the way the inflections in your voice. We're telling my story. I love it. Thank you.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for being here today. It sounds like we kind of have the same journey, so I'm very excited to hear
Ooh.
your story. So go ahead and share a little bit about yourself.
Well, first of all, I just want to say it's a miracle that we're here today, and I learned about hotspots, so I'm very excited my Wi-Fi went. But, of course, my husband and my son were like, yeah, there's this hotspot you can connect. So to me, that brings me so much joy. Every little thing brings me so much joy, and that we could be here. And as far as let's just start out with the fact that when you mentioned the 1 to 3 minutes a day is because I believe there's nothing more important than how you start your day. And you get to choose every single day how you show up. So it doesn't take long. It just is a matter of you really wanting to make a difference in the world and that you understand that you have the power to choose how you show up. So every day when I wake up in the morning, I choose a word. I do a body scan, Roberta, and I go, where am I today? You know, and then if I'm in a lull, I don't go, okay, I want to show up with pure joy. It could be ease and calm. It could be peace. If I'm riding high, it's powerful. So what I do is focus in on that word. And then I come downstairs, I push the button on the coffee pot, and then I go outside. I don't care what the weather is. And I have a little routine that I do every single day using movement, words, and laughter to get myself into a more powerful mindset. And then I start my day and I write my word in my journal, and it doesn't take long. It's not long. So everything I've done in life has been built on movement, words, and laughter. Every single thing from where I came, what I got out of a horrible situation, growing up in the projects with lots of chaos going around me. I tapped into this movement, words, and laughter that only took 1 to 3 minutes, but it shifted my mindset into a powerful place that I could see beyond what was right in front of me.
Ooh, I love this. And I love the simplicity of it, but
Yeah.
it's so important to start your day off. And I love how you're not trying to like pretend. Some days we don't feel as energetic, and
Oh,
it's okay. Those
yeah.
are the days that we can
Yeah.
say, "Oh, I'm going to take it easy today." But to be good to yourself.
Yeah.
And this is what I've heard is that getting out in nature and first thing in the morning, no matter the weather, I love that. I've kind
Not
of
at all.
challenged myself too because it can get pretty chilly here in Cincinnati.
Yeah. Same there in Philly. I mean, it gets cold, but I'm under a roof. It's not like I'm sitting there with rain and snow on my head. So even if it's raining, I'm still covered. I'll just wear a jacket. It's just clearing my head for the day.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do movement, words, and laughter. But I can tell you this, some kind of movement is already going to put you in a powerful mindset. It doesn't have to be a dance, but it could be
Yeah.
calisthenics, anything. And then focusing in on a word allows you throughout the day to go, wait a minute, am I coming from power? Am I coming from grace? Oh, wait a minute, I'm not. And what can I do to get back there? You're going to go off, but you just don't want to stay off that long. The whole idea is to reset quicker. You know, I want you to
Exactly.
feel every emotion. I just don't want you to get stuck in the other ones. That doesn't mean I want you every single day being pippy skippy. It doesn't work like that.
Right? Because then we're not really truly being our authentic self, which is a lot of what I like to really bring out here. And it took me a long time to figure this out, Sandy. What about you? Have you always been filled with this confidence and knowing who you are and what you want?
Well, of course, there's been ups and downs, there's been valleys and there's been mountains, but you know what? I'm going to take you back a little bit so you can understand. I believe I came into the world with a sense of knowing there was something bigger than me out there, whatever it was, universe, God, force, higher power. I believe there was something else that was going to help me have this beautiful life as a child. And I grew up in the projects, which, okay, wasn't the best, but I had my peeps that believed in me. They were really cool. Most challenging thing is that my mom grew, well, I'd say she spent most of her life in mental institutions. So as a kid, it was a very unstable environment. And when she come home, it was even worse than when she was there. But for some reason, at a very early age, I thought that there was this universal energy watching after me, and I could tap into it whenever I wanted. And I had 5 angels. And so when people would come around, whether they were therapists or ministers or whatever, I'm like, listen, dude, I'm fine. What about you? I got 5 angels. And they would be like, oh my God, I really think she's fine. I really think she's fine. Like, I go, yeah, they laugh a lot. I can lend you one. And it became this whole big thing. Whether people believed it or not, it didn't matter. I believed it. And so when things would get really, really bad, here's what I did every day, which is why it's the 1 to 3 minutes. Now, I didn't know what I was doing, Roberta. I just want you to know. I didn't know. I just knew that when I danced around for a bit, put on my favorite tune, I would movement and call it movement, words, and laughter. And then I'd focus in on one word. Even I remember this doing this as the age of 9. How do I want to show up for school today? How do I want to show up? And it could be fun, it could be loving, it could be goofy. And I would write that word down. I would focus in on that word. And then I would always make light of everything. I would laugh and be silly just to lighten up the mood. And I would write the word down. And sometimes I would journal more times than others. And this, what I now call movement, words, and laughter, I didn't call it that. I just did it every single day. So imagine you're doing that every single day in a horrible situation where most teachers don't think you're graduating high school because of your horrible situation. They're like, if she graduates at high school, she'll be the first, in her family. That'll be a great thing. Be grateful for that. Be a waitress, pump gas, which I'm all good with. But I was very fortunate in that my uncle paid for my dance lessons. So I ended up getting a dance scholarship because of financial reasons and my dance ability. And it got me out of there. I'm so grateful for my dance instructor too. But think about it. Here I am since a very young age in a really tough situation, realizing that this one little thing I did could really shift my mindset to feel joy. And now you're doing it every day, every day, every day. It wasn't until years later, I'm talking years after I had already opened a couple health clubs, that somebody was like, why are you getting so many results with your clients? Why do your clients always get results? And I realized I was using this method on them with a lot of the mindset stuff and didn't even realize I did it because it was so innate to me. I thought everyone was doing it. And it wasn't until a few years ago that I labeled it movement, words, and laughter for a TED Talk. I just thought everyone does something in the morning to start their day to get into a more powerful place. I didn't realize it was that unique. And I didn't label it. This is just something, it was like brushing my teeth. So I think the biggest thing that I want to get out of this podcast, because I know there's going to be a lot of people that just are stubborn because they think things have to be time consuming and challenging, is that when they say those little things really matter, And it really does shift your brain, and doing that every single day, it makes a freaking huge, huge, huge impact. But it's hard, especially for people that want to make a difference in the world, people that are A type personalities, people that are high achievers, because it seems like, how can that little thing make such an impact in my life? It's just, it's not hard, and it's fun, and it's not complicated, and my day is like ease and flow. How's that possible and still make a huge impact? That's the mind shift that they have to take a leap of faith on.
Yes. Oh, wow. I love that. You definitely were born with this gift, though. I mean, this is awareness to me. Like, I didn't have a lot of awareness. I wasn't living in the present moment. You
Yeah,
know, I was always thinking about something else. And a lot of people get up in the morning and they notice, aches and pains or this or that and not try to
yeah.
turn that around. And you can change it in an instant. You can change a belief in an instant. I truly believe that. And we
Mm.
do make it too hard. And when we talk to people about journaling, they're like, ugh, right? They're like, oh, I got to
I don't
journal.
care, do it 30 seconds. I don't mean you have to journal and tell your whole life story.
Yep.
If you want, great. If you want to map out your plan, your goals, great. I just want you to get in the habit of focusing in on something you can see, to remind yourself of what you are choosing to accomplish, not what anybody else in the world is. And by that's why I created these guided journals, because I didn't want it to be complicated. If you journal now, great. Journaling is way more popular than when I started it. Nobody wanted to do it. They thought I was cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Now everyone understands the benefit of it, even though they might not do it. But again, it doesn't have to be time consuming. It take a
Yep.
minute. Write down your statement, write down your goal, write down a word. It's just the habit of reflecting on it. If it leads you to other things, great. But I don't want you to do it because you shoulda, coulda, woulda. No, I want you to do it because you want to.
Yeah, I like that. So when did you decide to start writing your books? When did you decide to start putting your thoughts, your information into books? You have 3 books, right?
Well, they're all the same. My staff, because I would always have, let me tell you a story or
Okay.
powerful. And they're like, Sandy, you really should write a book. I'm like, no, that's not my thing. I like speaking. I like talking in crowds. I'm great moving. I don't want to sit down and write. But then I was like, wait a minute, wait a minute. I do want to write a guidebook. So my first book, it led you to why I believe so heavily in journaling, and it attached to journals, but it was also the stories that got me there, and the people that influenced me, and the little parables along the way, to show you why I believe so heavily in that, the 1 to 3 minutes, and also in the journaling. But when I initially did it, Roberta, I was very fortunate that my club downtown was right around a lot of colleges. So you had the Wharton School of Business, you had a university, Pennsylvania, you had Drexel, you had Temple. So I gathered what I called the powers to be together. 12 different people from all backgrounds, like neuroscientists, positive psychologists, exercise physiologists, guru spiritual leaders, you name it, nutritionists, because I wanted the science behind getting you in this mindset and the importance of seeing it on paper. And for a year, I mean, believe it or not, we debated, they argued, they whatever, just to create this one journal page. And when we first started out, I mean, it was like a 6-year journey. So, like, it sounds like now, like, oh my God, everyone's journaling. But back then, there really weren't, not in the mainstream. And so I first interviewed people that I felt exuded pure joy, and I wanted to know what was inside them. If were they born with it? Could you create it? Could you develop it? Is it a habit you could work on? So I studied them for almost a year, and what I found out is, yes, number one, they all believed they were worthy of receiving what they asked for. So they all believed innately, they were worthy of it. But the second thing is, and this was why I created the journals, they all did something to get in that powerful mindset before they started the day. Now, it could have been playing the piano. It could have been making muffins. It could have been exercising and journaling. It could have been petting their dog. And it didn't matter if it was a few minutes or a few hours. There was nothing more important than them deciding how they wanted to show up in the world. It could have been making a list. So when I saw that, I was like, oh my God, okay. Maybe you don't come into the world with this pippy skippy attitude, but you can have a huge impact and you can create this habit. All these people are doing it that I believed create, they just exude joy. So when I saw that, I'm like, okay, we can train this, we can create this habit. And so when we started out, the journal took you 5 minutes and I handed it out to 100 people. And I said, listen, I'm going to watch you for a year. And this is all you have to do. Pick an area of your life that you want to take up a level, one of the three main areas. And I was so excited. Guess what? One person did it. It failed. And these were high achievers. And I said, pick the area that you want to up level. Three of the main areas, like whether it's body health, love, relationships, money, career. So they weren't picking the area that was their best area. They didn't do it because, which I didn't realize until my professor told me after a year of what I thought wasted my time, no one's going to spend 5 minutes to improve their life unless they really believe it's possible. They didn't believe at the end of the day this was going to work. So they didn't take that leap of faith. So then I go back for another year and I make it, my professor at Temple, Dr. Kendrick, said, make it a minute to 3 minutes. Then if they're not sure, they're going to do it. And if they do it for 30 days, they're going to see the results and then they'll go the next level. So he made it, that's where the 1 to 3 minutes came out.
Because people want to know that it's easy, fast and easy.
And if they don't believe it, like if they truly believed that, they would have taken the 5 minutes, right? Because then once you know, oh my God, this really works. But they were willing to do it for a minute to 3 minutes. And so that's where it came up with the minute, 3 minutes, so that no matter what, you were willing to do this. So on days where you don't have all that time, you go, all right, well, I can do a minute. I can do while I'm in the bathroom, for God's sake. They're willing to stick with it. If you go the next level and you want to do more, that's because you're already in that zone. And that's why I'm like, this makes a massive difference, because where do you want to take action from? You don't want to take action because you have to, or it's fear-based. You want to take action from the love-based emotions, right? They're all good, but where are you taking action from? This just helps you get there quicker.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I totally relate to that. Um, but I was like that person that was, when I first started this journey, and I've always had the desire, and I've always known there are other things are possible. Big things are possible.
Yeah.
Okay. But then when I really, did the thing, was married at 23 and, started having children and this and
Yeah.
that, and then forgot about my dreams. What about those people
Mm.
that forgot it was possible and put everything else aside?
So there's so many people that do that, right? I mean, come on. Even me, like, think about it. As much as I've been doing this my entire life, not knowing I was doing it, and I did it out of necessity, right? It was like either that or the other side of things, which there's nothing wrong with it. I get making a living that way, but I could have been, you know, drowning it out with drugs or alcohol. Like, there's so many other ways I could have taken this. I was fortunate that I found this way at a young age, and I was like, wait a minute, this works for me. And by the way, my 5 peeps in the project who were doing all those things didn't let me do those things. They were counting on me. So they pushed me in this direction, even though they weren't in that direction. So that's a whole nother story. But even me, who's been doing it forever, the naysayers get in your head. All the obstacles. I'm not, smart enough. There's so many people doing it before me. There's millions of people. Am I going to be 1,000,001? Am I too old? Am I too young? I've tried it so many times and failed. I mean, think about all the rhetoric, all the stories we all tell ourselves. We all do. So what you want to do, they're there and they're real. And we all have a lot of negative chatter in our head. So this is what I would suggest. Before you can make a massive shift, you got to at least stop lying to yourself. You can't pretend everything's, okay and hunky dory if it's not. And you want to be really real about the thoughts that you have about that area of your life. So this is what I would suggest doing. Think about right now, all your viewers or listeners, the one area, because we all have it, write it down. Well, not if you're driving, but think about it. The one area that you want to take up a notch, think about, right? We talked about it before, whether it's body health, something you want to do with that, love, relationship, or money, career. Just pick one area. If it's all three, I get it. But the other ones, I promise you will come along, because once you're in that powerful mindset, the rest comes along. So pick that one area, write it down. And then I call it scribble scrabble or brain drain. Write down every thought that no one else is going to see but you, Roberta, that you have about that area of your life. And let me tell you, they're not going to all serve you well. They absolutely are. Or it would happen in your life. You would have that dream home. You'd have that money in the bank. You'd have that lover you want. There's got to be those negative doubts. Everyone has them. And just keep writing. Write them all until you go, whoa. Because I've done this. I mean, like, I go, oh my God, I did think I was too old. I did think, well, oh my God, am I going to really be successful again? I already had, I mean, I didn't know, like, I start writing it down. And then you go, all right, that's cool. It's not good or bad, right? It's not any of it. It's not positive, even negative. Does it serve me well? Maybe not. Okay. So then you put a big X in it. And you start with gradually what you do believe. What do you know? Well, I did this before, and I was able to do that before. And there's, I don't know, 8.5 billion people in the world now. Even I hit 1% of them, that would be great. And if nobody wants to publish my book, I can sell whatever it is you want to do. And you write it until you get to what is it that might be possible, and you start building on that, and you tell yourself stories. Not they can't be lies, that you go, oh yeah, I've done that before, why couldn't I do it again? And just because that time didn't work out doesn't mean this time isn't. I'm a lot wiser. And you keep going until you finally get it, and now that's what you build on. And every day, whether it's writing it down or looking it in the mirror, you start changing that dialogue to get that lead. Because I truly, truly believe that you can shift those stories in your head. And yet sometimes it can happen in an instant, but sometimes it does take longer because they're deep and they're down, and you got to go out for the next layer, and then the next layer, and then the next layer, until you debunk that belief. Because some beliefs can be like this and some take a little longer. And guess what? When they say it takes 30 to 60 days, that's all bullpucky. It's different for every single person. It depends how long it's been there, how long it hasn't, how much it's been bothering you. It could be just something that was just happened yesterday from a naysayer. So it really matters. But then you start making slight differences. And the other thing is that you don't want to make it so grandiose, because your brain will know you're lying to it. You gradually shift it, gradually shift it, and gradually shift it. That's what I would like them to do.
Yes. Amen, sister. Listen, that is what I have been doing for the past few years. And we call it like limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
Those beliefs that don't serve you, that aren't getting you where you want to be. Like, and so I started writing that down, and then I started just looking and saying, I am fit and healthy. I am confident. And
Yeah.
at first you're like, I'm confident.
Yeah.
you know and then you
I'm
keep
good. Yeah.
yeah, and then you just keep doing it, and you're right, there is no time limit on this, and it could be the rest of your life. We're going to continue working and growing and evolving, and you just keep getting better and better. And I love that. And that's been my journey. It sounds like yours too. And you've been able to help so many people. Is that your why?
Yes and no. My why is more, my mission is to spread joy.
Mm.
And I think, no, I know. Recently, when people keep saying to me, what it was your secret to success? How did you get out of the project? How did you have these health clubs, from nothing to, really doing what your purpose and passion is? And I really believe, and now it's my new keynote, joy is your competitive edge. So for me, my why is for people to realize that when they tap into joy, that pure joy within them, they are able to see things in such a different light. The most difficult situation can be turned around. And again, why do I believe that? Well, I remember going into the mental institutions with my brother, who was older, but he was more sensitive than me, and things bothered him way more than me. So I knew when I went in there in this drastic situation, I had to change the mood and also get in trouble, because then my brother would be happy and make him, take this thing lightly. So I first started out and I'd say he'd not want to go. And I'd be like, listen, you're going to get a new pair of moccasins. He goes, what? Well, because in crafts, mom would always make a new pair of moccasins. I'd say, and I'm going to make a fool out of myself. He goes, oh, okay, well, that's good. So when we got there, okay, imagine this. You got to, let me just take you through. It's not like is now. So this is like back in the days in poverty. So it wasn't the best mental institution. I called them asylums. And when you walked in, I remember there was this like really long hallway, and I used to call it the walk of doom to get to mom's room. And they always put her at the long of this hallway. And we'd go in, and there would be that, oh, hospital food, that yucky hospital food that's been sitting around. So we'd be walking down and you'd smell them like, oh my God, yuck. And then I remember seeing, it's whacked. The walls, they were just like all tan, Roberta. No pictures, like nothing, nothing on it, like not even a sunset, an ocean, kids running, patients trying to escape. There was nothing. So when we finally, and there would be patients wandering around saying, I don't belong here. And guess what? Some of them did. They really did. But when we get to my mom's room, we go, hi, hi, hi. And then I take her in the wheelchair, and we, fast as we can, we go back down the hallway of doom to where they were gathering to get their medicine in the lobby. And I always wanted to go around the time right after dinner when they were getting their medicine, because they would all be there. And in my backpack, I would have a boombox and my tap shoes. And I bring out the boom packs and I throw on my tap shoes, and then I up to the people and I'd say, now keep in mind, I started this at 9, and I'd say, you don't need that medicine. Just watch me. I'll bring you joy. And then I'd push the button on the boom box and I'd start tapping. Well, imagine in just a few seconds, I could see the whole energy changing. They were like laughing and they were smiling and were having a really good time. So in that moment, I could see the hope in their eyes, Roberta, and the hope in mine. And I knew from then on, my mission would be to spread joy. Because if I could do it in the darkest of times, I'm thinking, what can I do with the rest of the world? So that's why I always say to people, okay, that may be an extreme situation, but you name one person who doesn't have tough times, feel overwhelmed, anxious, anxiety, maybe they're having anxiety attacks or depression. I mean, come on, it's part of living a full life.
Yeah.
I want to show them ways to not get stuck there, and for them to see it doesn't have to be time consuming or difficult. Like, I have a squirrel out here that it's, some people's heaven is other people's hell. I have this squirrel on my front porch. I call him Squirrely, and he makes the weirdest noise. And I see that as a symbol every morning because he's up on my rafters. He is destroying my front porch, but he brings me joy. And just sitting in there, I look at him, I hear the birds, I shift into joy. And I think, now some days it's going to be And like I said, it might just be peace or calm. But imagine you had your own routine, Roberta, no matter what. And I thought almost everyone did. But guess what? I work with a lot of high-end successful people, and it's hit or miss. Some days they do it, and some days they don't. And so they go out in the world and you're banged around like a ping pong ball. If
Mm.
you do well, you get a sale. Life is great. If you don't, well, wouldn't it be great if it didn't have that much to do with the outside environment and you could tap in quicker to this? So, again, why do I believe it so strongly? Well, because in a really bad situation, I saw what was possible when I threw on my tap shoes before they kicked me out. And I thought, oh my God, I'm going to change people's life with this. I didn't know how. You know what I mean? I didn't want to be an entrepreneur. I thought I was going to be a dance instructor. That's it.
I love this.
So that's my story.
What an amazing story. So motivating. And I tell people sometimes too, it's like I know things seem a little rough right now, but there's always another side to this and it can always be worse. Like I hate to say that, but I mean, we've got to find something to be grateful for.
Yeah.
And it's funny you were talking about your squirrels. So we have a pond out front here, and there's a bunch of geese, and now there's two families of, of
Mhm.
geese walking around. And geese can be
Oh, yeah.
little messy and this and that, but it's so cute seeing the little families walking around, and it just brings me joy. So I love that, and I have this saying, find the joy of living because it's there.
Yeah.
There.
Yeah. And
That's
it might be a little thing,
Yeah.
it could be the smallest thing. And I'm not saying there aren't really, really tough times that you're going to have to take a beat, take a day, maybe it's a week, and you can't even get yourself out of bed sometimes. But you want to have a system it'd be great if you had a system in place, right? Already. What do you do to help you get through that? In addition, come on, people, you need your posse. You need your community. You need
Mm,
your peeps. You need when you can't see beyond, down the road, you need someone to help you with that. I always say I hold space for others when they can't hold the space for themselves at times. And we all have those times. So it there's the unit, whatever your belief is, your heart, your universe, your higher power, whatever, tapping into that. But then we need some real humans, real peeps.
yeah.
Just one that will help
Mhm.
you see beyond what is right in front of you.
Yeah, very well said. And that could be friendships, community, it could be a mentor,
Yeah.
or a coach. I mean, there are people there to help guide you. And that's what I needed. I needed someone to believe in me until I could believe in myself.
Yep. Yep. They had to hold that space for you. Keep you going until you're like, yeah, okay, I'm here. I'm good now.
That's right. Right, right, right. So what's next for you? What do you see in your future? What are you pulling? Can you share with us?
Yeah. So what some of them may not know, I sold all my health clubs in 2019.
Okay.
And I made my side gig, my main gig. I had to take a beat, because of that COVID thing, because you were allowed to travel for a while. But that's okay, because I
Right.
took a course,
Yeah.
heroic public speaking in Lambertville. It was a speaker course. Whew, and to up my game, and it was phenomenal. And anyhow, so what I do now is I've been podcasting when it was a radio show for like 15 years. So I host two different podcasts. One called Let's Keep It Real for men and women around the world, making a powerful difference, longer version. And then I started in 2019 for women around the world, making a positive, powerful difference, called Hey, I Got Something to Say. And I do those every week. So I've been doing that for a long time, as well as I coach 5 people at a time in a 6-month program who are usually high achievers, and there's something else they want in one of the areas of their life they haven't cracked yet. And I do that. And then I do a lot of speaking engagements. My topic right now is Joy's Your Competitive Edge. And I teach workshops. And I also teach entrepreneurship to underprivileged high school kids.
Wow.
Especially, I didn't even mention that. Here I am, a dance major, thinking I'm going to be on Broadway. I sucked. I wasn't good enough for Broadway. Took a year off. You never know your direction. Ended up here in Pennsylvania, my undergrad at Westchester in dance department in health and phys ed, which led me to teach aerobic and fitness classes right on the main line, which the people in my class were like, oh, will you come train me in my home? At the time, they didn't have any trainers. So I went and trained them in their home, met influential people in the Philadelphia area. At the time, I'm still thinking I'm going to be now teaching dance and a dance instructor. All of a sudden, they're wanting me to train them more and more. I build a private training company. They start mentoring me. They teach me business. They take me under their wing. And now I have one health club, I have two health clubs, and I have three health clubs. I mean, it just from dance major, not great, shift gears. What am I going to do? I guess I'll be a dance instructor, to never wanting to be in business for myself, but just absorbing it because they saw this light in me, this joy, that's why I said it's my competitive edge, that I didn't want anything from them. I wasn't trying to get anything from them. I just wanted to help them, whatever they were, wanted me to achieve for them. Like what was their goal in fitness? I was just there for them. And because of that, all they wanted to do is keep helping me. Doors open, doors open, doors open, doors open. And then I ended up getting my master's in education, exercise physiology. But think about it. Why? Because I showed up with joy and wanting to serve others, and doors open, doors open, doors open. So now part of what I love doing is teaching entrepreneurship, because I've never taken a course in business in my life.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. You're so adaptable, and I love that. You're open to receive. You're open to receiving the next thing coming to you by just putting yourself out there and spreading
Yep.
joy. Like
Yep.
it's
That's it.
that simple, right?
Not complicated.
Not. Oh
I
my
don't
God.
know. I don't know where it's going to take me. I don't. When people said, oh, did you want to write a book? It wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
One of my employees were like, you should write a book. And then I'm like, you know what? I should. And then I did it. Okay. You should do this. Okay. Well, do you want to speak here? Okay. NBC 10. Okay, fine. You want to be our fitness expert? It was never my idea. None of this stuff. But then it presented them. And then I went in. I'm like, if it felt right to me, I was like, oh, I want to do that. That's great.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's great.
You
Yeah.
have allowed all of that in by expressing yourself loudly, by expressing your
Yes.
authentic self. It is coming to you. You don't have to go out there and grind and work hard and take a lot of time. It doesn't have to be difficult, right?
Yeah. And it's not like sometimes I don't spend hours or stay up night writing books, but I'm in a
Right.
zone. It doesn't feel like, oh my God, I have to, I have to, I have to. I want to, I want to, I want to.
Yeah, yeah. So this is what I call the balance of the feminine and masculine energy. And so getting into your feminine energy and allowing and really deciding what you want, and then masculine, yeah, you got to do some work. But
Yeah.
it's not as hard when you're in that place, in that right mindset first. That's
Yeah.
exactly
Yeah.
what
Yeah.
you're saying.
Yeah. It's like, I'm not saying there aren't,
Yeah.
of course, there are times like, oh my God, I have to get it done, right? That's everyone. That would be not being
Okay.
human,
And
but you just want it to be less. That's all. Just less.
right.
Yeah.
Right. Or else we could spend all of our time stressed. I loved it because you started off with it's a miracle we're here. And I'm like, you're not a kidding. Behind the scenes, guys. Okay. It's not
Yeah.
always what we expect. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, you haven't sent me the Zoom link. I'm like, whoops. you know, and so, and then, with your internet today, and then you just adjusted. And so we may freak out for a second or get a little excited,
Yeah.
but then it always works out. And this is one of my mantras, everything always works out for me.
Yeah. Yep.
And I think we all
Good
should
one.
say that because it's going to work out one way or
Everything always
another,
works out for me. Yep. That's a good
right?
one. Yep.
Yes. Oh, Sandy, thank you so much for sharing with us today. This has been awesome.
Roberta, it's been my pleasure. I'm glad it worked out. Yippee-ki-yay.
Right? Exactly. Yes. Thank you again. And we'll have all of your information linked below. And hey, guys, if you're not on YouTube, hop on over to YouTube because if you want to see our guests too, like sometimes instead of just listening to the podcast, if you want to watch, head on over. It's at Roberta Campbell Official. We would love to see you there. And while you're there, make sure that you subscribe. And so you can have more content and see the next guest that I have coming at you. Listen, thank you again for joining today. I'm so grateful for you and I'm so proud of you. And I tell you what, you follow these little steps here, like Sandy shared, just 1 to 3 minutes a day, and you will see your life change. I truly believe. And not only do I believe, I know it because I've done it myself. So thank you again, everyone. And until next time, see you all later.